Okay, so I thought I'd do something a bit different this time, and I thought I'd take a look through today's latest health headlines on Google News. So first up is this one called, "For once I had time to spend 15 minutes on my teeth, and boy did it feel good." So this is a funny little article really, because it's about somebody who spent time in a psychiatric ward and then they spent a couple of weeks in a crisis house afterwards. And it was while they were there that they got into the habit before bed of spending 15 minutes doing their oral hygiene routine. So although this did actually improve the health of her teeth, and they were very clean, it was less about that, and it was more about having that ritual every evening. It was more about having some kind of control in her life. But I'm not sure there's much we can really take from this. I mean, obviously it's good to clean your teeth thoroughly, but it seems a bit of a non-article really, so I think I'll move on to the next one. Next up is this article from Time called "Most People Worldwide Trust That Vaccines Are Safe, but the number who don't is concerning." So it seems that the number of people who don't think vaccines is safe is 7% of people. It does seem to vary throughout the world though. It seems that poor countries that have problems with infectious diseases tend to trust vaccines more, whereas wealthier countries that have less of a problem with infectious diseases tend to trust vaccines less. That's kind of the opposite of what I thought it would be, because I would have thought countries where they're having a lot of problems with disease might be sceptical about vaccines because they might think they're not helping. Or perhaps those countries aren't really getting vaccines much anyway, so maybe they think that the vaccines might be the answer to their problem. I don't know. Next up is this article on the BBC website called "Long Working Hours Linked to Stroke Risk." So this is based on a French study that found that if you work 10 hours or more for a decade or more, then you're 45% greater risk of getting a stroke. It seems that the kinds of workers who are most affected by long hours are those who work irregular shifts and nights, or people who have job-related stress, whereas people who run their own businesses, CEOs and managers, seem to be less affected by the long hours. But anyway, there are some things you can do to decrease your chances of getting a stroke, which includes eating a healthy diet, finding the time to exercise, stopping smoking and getting the recommended amount of sleep. Then there's this article about the West Nile virus. It's spread via mosquitoes, but there are some things you can do to prevent it, such as using mosquito repellent when outdoors and closing doors or windows or using screens. You can also wear long sleeves, avoid places with stagnant water and use mosquito nets. Apparently, most people with the West Nile virus have no symptoms, but you might develop mild flu-like symptoms, nausea, or a skin rash. But in very rare cases, people will develop more severe symptoms, such as muscle weakness, confusion, and fits. And unfortunately, there's currently no vaccine for the West Nile virus. Next up, babies born to obese mothers more likely to develop type 2 diabetes. Well, it doesn't really surprise me, because when you think about it, it makes sense. An unhealthy mother is likely to give birth to an unhealthy baby. It also seems that these children will be more likely to have other health problems, such as heart disease or even early death. I don't know what you think about this, but my opinion is that obesity should be treated like a really severe illness. You know, we shouldn't look at really overweight people and just think, oh, well, that's just the way they are, let's just accept them. I mean, obviously we should treat people with kindness, but people shouldn't be just accepted that that's the way they are. I mean, if somebody is severely overweight, if they're really obese, that is a real big problem. I mean, with being overweight comes severe health problems such as diabetes and heart problems and all kinds of things. So if somebody is really overweight, they need serious medical help to try and get their weight down. What do you think? Let me know. Okay, what about this one? About an e-cigarette that exploded in a teenager's face, causing horrible injuries. I won't show you the injuries. I mean, if you really want to look at them, you can look at the article yourself. But this does relate to a video I did a while back about e-cigarettes and how safe they are. Now obviously this is a freak accident and these things don't happen very often, but it's still worth keeping in mind that there are these potential dangers of e-cigarettes. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Men who eat 2 portions of yoghurt a week less likely to develop bowel cancer, study suggests. Well, this does kind of make sense when you think about it, because yoghurt contains friendly bacteria, and that's more likely to make your digestive system healthy, so then it's not a big stretch to think that that could reduce your chances of developing cancer in that region. However, it is worth pointing out that this study was observational, so that means it's not certain that they've proved a direct link, and they don't know exactly why yoghurt might lower the risk of precancerous growths, but there is a possible link there, so it's just worth pointing that out. Anyway, that's about all I've got time for today, but that's a quick roundup of the health news that caught my eye. So what do you think of these topics? If you've got an opinion on any of these topics, feel free to post a comment below letting me know your thoughts. You can find the links to the full news stories in the description. And of course, as always, if you found this content useful, why not click the like button and maybe subscribe too? Anyway, until next time, I wish you the very best of health.